There's some things that we need to pull out of this tweet that we need to make sure is a good point to point out. One thing, Tesla suspended vehicle purchases, okay? Suspended. Their goal is to allow you to buy Tesla with Bitcoin.
Yes.
So that's the first key point.
Correct.
They want that.
Yeah.
So I think that Elon is trying to put a little bit of pressure on that issue to be addressed, okay? And how better of a move than to say, you know, we're not gonna
right.
allow it as a purchasing form of payment. The other thing is they're not selling their own Bitcoin, which a lot of people are talking about, that they're not selling their Bitcoin, and I want to get into that.
There's lots of controversy with that.
But I think there's a very good argument as far as that's concerned. And the third, and shout out to Don Fron. I need to give Don Fron credit for this because he was the first one to really throw it out on his TikTok, which is everybody got lost in the fact that he's keeping his 1.5, or Tesla's keeping their 1.5 billion. He said they're looking to other cryptos.
Yeah.
And Don Fron, I'll let you go to TikTok into which one he thinks that they're going to invest in.
The Don Fron show, yeah.
But that opens up other cryptos, which is even bigger. So let's start with the 1.5 billion that they did not sell. And what's the controversy, as you say?
Yeah, so I real quick, I got to say that on Twitter, don't buy Tesla and hashtag Doge for Tesla are both trending on Twitter. So there you have it as far as what people are thinking. And actually, we just looked at this before we went live. Between Elon, SpaceX, and Tesla, they own around $5 billion worth of Bitcoin, which kind of does play into some controversial, I guess, discussion, because you have Tesla coming out and saying that they're not going to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment to buy their vehicles, yet, and because of how they feel from an ethics perspective on how it impacts the environment and the way that they mine Bitcoin, yet they own $5 billion collectively of this asset. And so you're like, well, if you feel that passionately about it, why are you even holding it in the first place? And I think that that's where a lot of people are drawing some contention for this whole situation.
This is a legitimate question. I don't know the answer to this. I think I know the answer to this, but I don't know. That $5 billion worth of Bitcoin, which I'm going to say on the record, I don't even know if that's true.
I pulled it from multiple sources.
1.5 billion is from confirmed.
Tesla. On Tesla's balance sheet, yeah.
Yes. So it's surprising that something else has more, but that's my personal feelings.
Okay.
My question is, of that $5 billion, if we just all agree that it is $5 billion, how much does it cost or how much energy does it require for that $5 billion from today moving forward?
It doesn't cost any energy to hold it from today moving forward.
Zero. Okay. That's just a point I want to make. It costs zero energy. So to sell it is stupid.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like that's my thought. We talked about, and I'll just touch on this really quickly. Them buying it as a store of value is different than saying, hey, open the floodgates for people to purchase it.
Yeah.
That's a one lump sum payment, or 1 month lump sum purchase. And so here's my argument where I understand the sentiment, but it's not, the issue isn't how much energy it's using. The issue is the rising rate of how much energy it requires. So back in February, when Tesla bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, since then, it's now requires 20% more energy to actually mine it. Does that change your mind?
Not really.
Because if you think about it, in the course of 3 months, to go from, and the specific number, and this is from University of Cambridge, they estimate that for a transaction, for it to mine, it had reached 147.8, not per transaction, I'm sorry, 147.8 terawatts. A 20% increase of anything over the 3 months. Think about your account. If your account went up over 3 months, 20%, you'd be crazy. The rate is the issue. And so if that pattern continues, does that mean that when back then it was 121 terawatts per hour for crypto mining, does that mean that it's going to be over 200 by the end of the year? because that's what it looks like. I don't know enough about the rate of growth.
Yeah.
But like that to me is what stood out. And I was like, holy shit, that absolutely makes sense. If I was on the board, I would absolutely be like, hey guys, do you notice this? Like we can't allow it.
Yeah. I definitely hear you on that point. I think the other part of it though is that it seems contradictory based off of how they are viewing this and how this impacts the environment. And here you are holding it on your balance sheet. So it's like, that's the other thing. Like if this is the hill you're going to die on, yet you're continuing to hold it, like what does that represent?
Well, it's one, I don't think he's dying on a hill. I think they made it, and we got to separate Elon from a company. Elon made a tweet on behalf of the company. So let's be clear.
Yeah.
People say Elon, Tesla made a decision. This wasn't Elon's decision. Elon is the spokesperson.
Yeah.
It's the board's decision. So, my point is that you're not. I would buy into your argument if he said we are never accepting Bitcoin. I think that is a smart move because the problem with crypto is the lack of regulation, and so all people are going to do is try to grow Bitcoin as fast as they can. Nobody's sitting there caring about anything other than the fact of let's freaking get Bitcoin to the moon. And so somebody's got to basically say, hold up, we love this, which he has been clear on. He loves Bitcoin. We love this, but guys, somebody's got to be able to monitor this. So my point is that he provided a clear path on how it would come back, and he very well wants Bitcoin to be offered as a purchasing mechanism. And so that's why I don't have a problem, is because he said, hey, if you address this issue, then we're good. And I think it's as simple as, not that it has to be to the floor, but it needs to be in a downward pattern, not in an upward pattern.
When did they, how long has it been since they started accepting payments for it?
It was around the same time.
In February?
Well, I think they announced it in February, but I think it was after February that they actually allowed the purchases.
I thought it was after February too.
I thought it was April or something.
I thought it was April. So that's what I'm saying. Like you allow, so to your argument, as far as the increase in energy usage,
nobody knew that was going to happen. That's 20% before you blinked.
In April is what I'm saying, is when they allowed allowed people to buy vehicles in April. So it's been what, maybe 3-4 weeks.
But you got to understand, large businesses' decisions are made way before then they're executed. Like,
I do understand.
For you to suspend that. Well, I'm not saying you don't understand, but the better word is, what we have to remember is decisions don't work like that in businesses. Yeah. Like that decision to take purchases probably happened last year. You know what I mean? Like for us to say.
So but then I guess people would be like, so then why didn't the decision to stop this? Why was that so quick? I guess after the fact that they allowed, you know what I'm saying? Like, if
that's a fair point.
That's a span in between, them allowing to buy vehicles with Bitcoin versus not allowing was just like so short. It's just like, why? It feels like he's flip flopping. That's I guess the perception that it's giving.
Because to execute something is much harder. They're not pulling it. The decision to pull it is a long process. The decision to hit the pause button is not. I think what's getting lost is it's the pause button, people. Yeah. Remember, it's the pause button.
Yeah.
Now, here's the last piece. And we could talk about this more in level 3. And this is just a fun conversation. But the last piece is other cryptocurrencies. And I think that's the bigger piece. And so he says, we are looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy per transaction. Bitcoin's energy per transaction is a little over 700 kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would we say is on the table?
Doge.
Well, how much is it?
I don't know.
Per kilowatt. Okay, what else?
I know it's not much. I know that's why he liked it in the first place.
And I'm going to tell you, but what else would you say? Okay, well, let me think about.
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I know that's
I think
one
most
of the
people
reasons.
would think Ethereum. But
yeah.
When you say crypto, you're going to say Ethereum.
Yeah. I was just thinking like energy wise, but yeah.
So we don't know energy wise, but we know the cryptos that are out there that are like, oh shoot, let's start scrambling and looking. And so I've pulled those numbers for you, Brad.
You got 60 seconds.
And we have, so as far as Ethereum, it's off the table. So it has to be anything less, let's just say less than 10 kilowatt hours to mine per transaction. Ethereum's at 62, off the table. Litecoin's at 18.5, close, off the table. Doge is at 0.12.
That's what, yeah.
And he just did a poll that asked people, should they buy Doge? It could be possible. XRP is the lowest of all crypto. It's 0.0079. Shout out to XRP.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you have it.
It'll be a future conversation.
It'll be
Doge.
interesting to see how this all unfolds and transpires. I would laugh my ass off if it comes back 2 weeks later. And we're back on.